I was lucky enough, I got to go to a screening yesterday to see it, and it's so fantastic. You're so fantastic in it.
Oh.
There was a very funny thing when we went in, which makes a lot of sense when you get, the luxury of seeing a movie before it comes out. One of the things they said was, no spoilers, which is a very funny thing to say about The Odyssey. It's like, we don't want people to know how The Odyssey ends.
No, don't give away the ending.
This is Christopher Nolan. This is your third movie with him.
Yeah.
And it must be...
I love you.
I don't know, it must be so gratifying when he reaches out again because, obviously nobody's going to say no to him. He has every option in the world,
Yeah.
and so when he goes back to you, it just must feel so nice to be able to collaborate with him again.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and I got just so lucky because I made The Dark Knight Rises with him when I was in my late 20s. Thank you. And then, we made Interstellar.
Yeah.
Which I cannot believe that I'm in that movie. I love that movie so much. It's so beautiful. And then he made a bunch of movies that I wasn't in.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I hope I didn't say anything while we were in space. But we would see each other, everything would be cool. And then I got the call.
It's very cool that he, again, that you guys were on a break, and then he's like, but the fact that he calls up, he's like, it's the Odyssey, it's Penelope, and I want you. I mean, what a cool, I don't know, what a cool part to be.
You can't say we were on a break when I'm pregnant. I have the way my body just was like, no, we weren't. He was just like in Dunkirk. It was just.
That's true. There were not a lot of great Anne parts in Dunkirk.
No, but it's the wildest thing. It's just an amazing experience being on his set because as brilliant as he is, as amazing as that mind is, his heart is just as powerful. And I think, and I felt like on the Odyssey in particular, what I saw was he built the movie with his mind and then he directed it while we were there with his heart. And that was just gorgeous.
There is, there's so many incredible scenes on the water. There's so much splashing.
This is the no spoiler.
When you read the Odyssey, you really underestimate how much splashing there is. Were you at all? You're mostly I feel like this is in the not a spoiler. You're mostly on land. Were you jealous at all that you weren't? Because it does seem like it was pretty arduous to shoot.
Oh yeah, I was totally jealous.
You would have happily been.
I felt bad being jealous because I was very happy with my part. But
Yeah.
I also am a tomboy.
Yeah.
And my first film with him, I got to do a backflip out of a window.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotional backflipping in this one, but not any physical stuff. But I did get to go out on the water.
Yeah.
And so a couple times, and one of the times when we got back, Matt was like, "Wow, that was the roughest day at sea that we've had yet." And I was like, "Yes."
Oh, that's good.
Okay,
so you can dine out with that.
It was a fewer number of times out on sea, but when I was there,
That was when the sea was loud that day.
Oh.
I'm very excited to see this movie with my 10-year-old son because he is super into Greek mythology, and I've heard that you were also, this was a big thing for you when you were a kid. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing how it just it ropes certain kids in and they just go deep on it. And that was who you were?
Yeah, totally. It was 8th grade, so I was a little older than your son. It was Mr. K.
He's very advanced.
So's mine.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was in Mr. Cahill's 8th grade class, English class, and we read them, and I don't know, something clicked. I imagined if I was good at math, that's how I would feel about that, but I'm not. And so, and I just loved it, fell in love with it, and I don't know, it just never went away. So I actually read Greek myths for fun.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like a line for the movie, but it's a hobby.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of nerd.
Yeah.
And then, and then, so when I got this, I couldn't believe it. It was just the colliding of so many. It's almost a thing you don't even know that it's allowed to want.
I think it's going to be a very cool movie for people to bring their kids to because I think a lot of them know the stories. For me, it'll be so exciting if it's the first movie I go to with my kid where he's not like, who's that? If he actually knows from reading the stories, who the characters are, and I don't have to explain it over the course of the movie, I'll be so thrilled.
I would say this, whether or not I was in it, it's a spectacular film. Just in your life. I've seen it twice now, and just everything about it. Ludwig Göransson's score it gets into your bones. Chris's visuals with Hoyte van Hoytema is our DP. Matt's performance.
It's unbelievable.
sorry, this is so rude. You guys haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah.
Matt's performance
And
is
it's
jaw-dropping.
mostly sold out. So it's gonna be like, I know we're saying it's coming out next Friday. You're not getting tickets next Friday. It's wonderful from top to
Hasn't
bottom.
this been fun? Are you so happy this is the show? This is the show you came to?
It's the best. You guys, that's Anne Hathaway. You know, this movie, you know, the epic, the scale of the Odyssey is one thing, and then it's just so exciting. You just keep seeing actors you love. And it's Christopher Nolan, who's this director who is just, I feel like, you know, just like changed cinema for the best. Gets our seats, gets us in our, you know, the seats in the theater. What was it like when he reached out and was like, not just like, hey, I want to work with you, but it's the Odyssey and I want you to be Menelaus. Like, what was that?
Look, the entire thing, you know, he's completely singular in this field. You know, he is the only person who I think could make this film. You know, look, it's sometimes in your life you get the opportunity to just witness somebody doing the very thing that they were put on this earth to do, and that's Chris making movies. It really wouldn't have mattered what the film was. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to work with him. I'm so glad that I did. You know, and yes, he's a technical master and an unbelievably precise and singular filmmaker, but he also has this spiritual love for cinema and love for acting, love for craft. He's just the total package, and I'm just so honored I got to share space with him.
It's fantastic. Everybody's going to see it. I don't need to tell them, but it's worth it.
It's true.
Anybody who's on the fence, I don't know why, but
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
go.
good.
Yeah.
I saw it and loved it, and it's also, I didn't want to know much about it before I saw it, and then I keep hearing about it. I mean, everything was practical. I mean, you were on a boat so much making this.
Yeah.
And so much, you're wet so much.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
they said, I mean, Christopher Nolan just throwing buckets of water on you.
Yeah, well, no, it's actually they had a boat. Scott Fisher, who did our effects, had a boat that just basically had fire hoses hanging off the side. And so
You were praying for a bucket.
It wasn't just me getting wet. You
Yeah.
know, it was the entire cast. It was the entire crew. It was Chris. Like the one, you know, reassuring thing is, as miserable as you are, you just look to your right and he's just there with you. He's just completely
Right,
in it.
well,
Yeah.
exactly, because there's not like a video village where he can be standing somewhere else, like watching it dry.
There's no special dry place that he goes to. Like, he's just in it with you.
Yeah, everybody suffered. I also, I heard Robert Pattinson tell a story about how you were sort of screaming to try to like grizzle your voice up. Is that accurate?
Right, for the third act,
Yeah.
for the older version.
Just kind of, to age it out. And he did not realize that's what you're doing. And so he was a trailer over, like, very concerned.
Oh, we shared a honey wagon. It was a two-banger, so
Gotcha.
he probably...
He thought there was maybe a bathroom emergency, which...
That, if he heard that and thought it was a bathroom emergency, he should have called 911.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah.
hears that and doesn't
That-
get help, what kind of friend is
yeah,
that?
exactly. Like, what? I mean, I could have been getting murdered in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
It's an incredible cast, and yet I hope your castmates will not take issue with me saying there's a Cyclops that won't surprise anybody that knows, that kind of steals the show. Your first time working with a Cyclops?
It was. It was my first time ever working with a Cyclops. Yeah.
It's one of the it's one of the most exceptional scenes in the film, and also a practical Cyclops.
Yeah, we shot in a real cave in Greece called Zeus's Cave. They say it's where Zeus was born, and we would hike up to Zeus's cave, and the rigging grips did this incredible job. They basically turned it into a natural soundstage, and they had this 60-foot puppet, right, that was in there that they were controlling so that we could interact with the puppet. Chris basically uses CGI as little as possible. So there's always some CGI touch-ups that need to happen, but he tries to do everything the way they would have done it, 80 years ago, and then uses modern effects to make it perfect.
I truly want to see the movie again anyway, but I will be so fascinated to watch that scene again, knowing that it's a puppet.
Yeah.
But but real deal sheep in this movie, real deal pigs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The animals are all very, very real. In fact, when we first went into Zeus's cave, I'd been hearing about it, and Chris and Hoyta, our cinematographer, were there, and I walk into the mouth of the cave, and they're way down in the middle of it, and Chris goes, "Matt, come here, come here." And I go, kind of jogging down. I'm like, "Hey, what?" And he goes, "Smell." So I smell, and he goes, and I go like, "Yeah, what?" And he goes, "This is the best this place is gonna smell for 2 weeks." He goes, "We got 40 sheep coming in," and sure enough, the 40 sheep came in.
And it took 2 weeks to shoot the caves.
Yeah, it was, I think, about 2 weeks.
Wow.
In there, and he was not lying. It
Yeah.
was-
I would guess almost immediately the sheep sort of bring their smell with them.
the sheep made themselves known right away. Yeah.
You also shoot a scene. It's very funny to be like, I don't want to spoil the movie, but like also like, there's a Trojan horse.
I don't think these are spoilers.
Yeah, I don't think they're
we're
spoilers.
okay.
But that is this practical moment where you're watching it and you're like, there's no trick here. This seems like just a bunch of dudes stacked on top of each other, hiding in a Trojan horse.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I was so excited to see how he was going to do it. And I remember seeing the horse for the first time buried in the sand in Morocco. I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. The design of it and how cool it looked. And then when we got to the time we were going to shoot the interior of the horse, we were still in Morocco. And I said, Chris, we're shooting that tomorrow. How are you going to do it? And he just goes, I don't know. He goes, we're all just going to jam into the horse. See what happens. And that's the thing about working with him that's so fun is as big as the movie is, as epic as it is, he still shoots kind of like an independent film. And he waits to see what the actors are doing, and he kind of gathers all the elements he's going to need, not quite sure how he's going to deploy them. And then when he sees it, he kind of discovers the sequences as they go. It's really a really high level of directing.
I mean, it's so funny because part of me is like, oh my God, it really looks like you're jammed in the horse. And then the secret is we
are. Yeah. But that's he wants it all to feel
Yeah.
grounded. He wants to take the audience and we shot it entirely in IMAX, and he wants to take the audience and just bring them on the Odyssey, like just jam them in the horse with us. And you are, and you feel claustrophobic,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
And hopefully that makes it resonant for the audience.
My only regret is that I couldn't smell the sheep because I feel like that would be really additive as well.
Trust me, you didn't miss anything.
Okay, great.